Romeo, cleared for takeoff runway tree straight out, departure approved.
Cleared for takeoff runway tree Pipistrel 01 Romeo.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm the Simviator, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a different flight today. It's not going to be a procedural flight. It's going to be more of a sightseeing and historic flight, if you will. We are here at Kissimmee Gateway. We're going to be doing a quick takeoff here. We're in the Pipistrel Virus SW121. It's a light sporting aircraft. And we're going to be going to the STOLport at Disney. And if you don't know what a STOLport is, it's a short takeoff and landing airport, runway. So pretty much that's all it was. It was a runway in Disney. It was right next to World Drive over by the Magic Kingdom entrance. And it opened in 1971. And it serviced airlines from Orlando International and Tampa International. I believe it was Shawnee Airlines and Executive Airlines. Runway is only 2,000 feet long, so it's only serviced certain aircraft that were able to get up and go quickly. If you look into it, you'll be able to find out which ones took off from there. So we are now headed toward Disney property, and we will get there shortly and do a flyover of it. Check it out.
Kissimmee Tower Pipistrel Lima Sierra 201 Romeo frequency change. Orlando approach Pipistrel Lima Sierra 201 Romeo is type Pipistrel PIVI 4 miles north of Kissimmee. Request flight following.
Pipistrel Lima Sierra 201 Romeo, Orlando approach. Squawk 4174.
Squawk 4174 Pipistrel 01 Romeo.
Pipistrel 01 Romeo, radar contact 5 miles north of Kissimmee, 1,400 feet. Altimeter 29.902.
Copy Pipistrel 01 Romeo.
So once we get done checking out the STOLport runway that was here, we'll head back toward Hollywood Studios, because Flight Simulator's using Bing Maps, which is years older than anything like Google Maps is using. The older stuff in Hollywood Studios is there, and the airplane that Walt ended up using to fly Imagineers back and forth from the parks while Walt Disney World Resort was actually being built, the plane is there, and that was used for the backlot tour. I'm not sure if the plane's there on property somewhere, but it's no longer, the backlot tour is no longer open, so they don't use that or go by that plane anymore. But some interesting facts about it is when they were bringing the plane here to be put in the backlot, they weren't even allowed to use the STOLport, which wasn't being used for what it's used for now. What we'll end up seeing when we fly over it, or you can look on Google Maps, is this looks like some shipping containers are there. It's used for storage and parking now. but it was still open at the time when they were flying the Grumman G159 Gulfstream in to be part of that tour, but they still weren't allowed to land there, and there's a reason for that we'll get to a little bit later. But they ended up landing it on World Drive, and I'll point that out because it's right next to the airport too, as we come up and approach it here. But it's pretty interesting, and I'll even throw a picture in there so you can see the plane parked there on the actual World Drive. Alright, so let's slow the airplane down a little bit and we'll get the trim worked out as we make our right hand turn. Well, we'll keep it straight. There's Epcot there. You can see Spaceship Earth in the parking lot. So we just got to go a little bit more northwest. Start heading toward we're looking for basically the Magic Kingdom entrance to get toward the Magic Kingdom Park, the one that you have to drive your car through off World Drive. Alright, so here's a picture of the runway when it was active, what it looked like. Has STOL on the bottom there, so aircraft know it's only a short takeoff landing use. And again, these maps are older in Bing, so that's actually Walt Disney World Racetrack. You see up in the left-hand corner of the dash there. That is no longer there. That's been tore down. It's a parking lot now or something like that. I think they ended up converting it into. So we're approaching the old runway right there. It's coming into view on the right hand side, and that's it down there at the bottom. So you can actually see where there is an extension and it's a little bit shorter, but where it thickens out on the sides is where the runway actually started. But that's the runway right there, and that is the building, the parking lot, or where the building was for the actual, I guess, port into Magic Kingdom, where they would bus you in from there. But it never had any hangars in it, nowhere to park aircraft. It only had enough tarmac space for 4 aircraft, and it was just used for quick, landings and takeoffs, get people in and out. Probably a very short turnaround time would be my guess. And there's World Drive right down there. Now, if you look next to World Drive, you'll see a monorail line. And anybody who's familiar with this will know that the monorail line is there. That's actually what made the STOLport obsolete. So it closed in 1982 because they were making the extension for Epcot, and it was going to be too dangerous for aircraft to fly in there with the monorail operating in and out. So that's the reason, part of the reason. The other part was Disney could never get an actual airline carrier to sign on long term to fly people in and out of Orlando International, which was McCoy was the name of the original airport, and Tampa International. So a couple of those things led to them just altogether saying, we're not going to bother operating this anymore. So as I pull this left base to final here, we're going to go ahead and get down there and look at it real close. So another fun fact about this runway actually was they had grooves cut in it, similar to the ones on the side of the road to let you know when you're veering off. They had grooves cut in the runway, so when you were moving at about a speed of 45 miles an hour, it actually played the beginning part of When You Wish Upon a Star. I think those grooves were removed somewhere in the early 2000s. Probably a lot of people were driving in there, driving through it to listen to it. But now you can see it's just used for storage with shipping containers and some parking. But it is visible from World Drive if you are going to the Magic Kingdom. If you stick around for the end of the video or you want to zoom ahead, I do end up landing this aircraft on that old runway. I wanted to see if it was possible or if I'd end up crashing it. It's not the prettiest landing, but with a lot of objects on the runway, I guess it's not going to be, but I do end up putting it down there. So if you stick around for the end or you want to skip ahead to the end, that's there too. But right now we're going to head toward Hollywood Studios, and this is World Drive right here. So again, like I said, they would not allow the plane that we're about to go see to land at the STOLport, even though it didn't have all those shipping containers and cars there. It was not operational, but they could have landed the plane there. So instead, they actually had to opt to land the plane on World Drive. But this plane that we're going to see was actually, it's not the plane that Walt used to fly over when he was looking for land for the Florida project. But once he decided on this is where he wanted the Disney World to be, he ended up buying this plane afterward. And there it is. There's a picture of it actually sitting on World Drive. And he bought that plane shortly after deciding this is where he wanted the Disney World to be. And that's what he used because it was faster to ferry from California back to Florida and vice versa. So Walt did have a lot to do with picking the interior. The paint scheme was different. It was actually orange and white. I mean, there's older pictures if you want to look and see what it actually looked like, but that was the paint scheme that you just saw, and you're going to see, I'll throw in another picture there, is the newer one, and the tail number wasn't the same either. It's got November 234 Mike, but it was Mickey Mouse. There it is. There's the plane on the backdrop of the Lights Motor Action seating area. And that's the plane there where it's at. But the original tail number was November 732 Gulf. That's the tail number it was when Walt actually used that plane. But they changed it to November 234 Mike or Mickey Mouse, as ATC called it when it was in the area later on. Okay, so we'll take one more quick spin by here. Just take another look at the aircraft. Again, I don't know if the aircraft's still there or not, but the backlot tour is not, and neither is Lights Motor Action. It's actually where Star Wars Galaxy Edge sits now. View on this Pipistrel plane is it's very maneuverable. It's a lot of fun. It's great for sightseeing. The windows are very wide open on the side, as you've seen. It's a nice little airplane. I'm definitely be taking it out on some more trips. But here is the bonus footage here. Just on a whim, I decided to start recording and bring this in. And I was going to post it regardless of how it ended, if I crashed or if I landed it. As I told you earlier, I do land it. It's a little bit of a hard landing, but it's pretty cool to see kind of what the pilots were experiencing when they came in. Clearly they didn't have to duck or dodge any cars or shipping containers, but it's pretty cool to see still. Obviously they were flying dual engines, capable of going much faster than this. So as you can see, I'm over the runway right now, the actual runway. I would have wanted to have it down by then, but lots of obstacles. And there you have it. Stopped in time. This is the STOLport runway right here. So, just a quick little video, non-procedural. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a like. And if you want to see more videos, I'm going to be putting out more videos. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We're going to have a lot of those. And come sit right seat with me. You guys have a good one.